Hi everyone, I'm feeling quite energized today, so let's go ahead and do a video on this streetlight right here.
So today I'm going to review this really wonderful fixture here that I don't think a lot of people really know about. So this right here is the Spaulding Metropolitan 1000, and this is 1000 watts Mercury vapor. Now this is a very obscure and very impressive fixture at the same time, and there is some information out there about this fixture, but not really a lot of clear information, kind of like vague information you could say. Back in the early 60s when Jocelyn started making the spaceship line, they had a couple pretty well-known fixtures, that being the MV121 and the MV141. Now during that time, I don't think Jocelyn had made a 1000 watt Cobra head style fixture, as where other companies like GE, Westinghouse, and American Electric were going down that path of making those types of fixtures. But even back then, Jocelyn was a little bit of an obscure company and they really didn't have a lot of fixtures in their fixture line. But sometime in either the late 60s or possibly the beginning of the 70s, they were bought out by a company called Spaulding. And a lot of people don't really know about that, and I don't understand or really know why Spaulding bought them out or why they switched over to Spaulding. But oddly enough, some of the things in here, and I'll show you when I go over this fixture, are very reminiscent of Jocelyn type things, and that you'll see in a minute here is the glass refractor, actually still labeled as Jocelyn, but this is not a Jocelyn fixture. This is a Spaulding Metropolitan fixture. Now, Spaulding did make a couple other Metropolitan fixtures, I think, and again, this is why the information is very vague. The only real information out there that talks about these is this little catalog online, and I'll put a link down in the description below, but it basically shows an illustration of the Spaulding Metropolitan 1000 fixture, and it talks about a 250 watt fixture and a 400 watt fixture, but they really aren't shown there. Now the 250 watt small Cobra head version of this fixture does exist, but no one really knows if a 400 watt medium style Cobra head was ever made. But a 1000 watt Cobra head was definitely made, and they're a lot more common actually than the 250 small Cobra head versions. But this Metropolitan 1000, despite it having a lot of very vague and obscure information, was made, I think, for a very, very short time. I don't think it was made too far into the 70s, but of course that information just isn't there. I will say, if anyone knows where they can find Spaulding Metropolitan catalogs or just Spaulding catalogs for this type of stuff, please feel free to share that information and let me know, and put down in the comments where you can find that, or where you know someone has that, because that information would be very helpful. Now, I will give you a quick story on this fixture. I've had this fixture for a while now, and I've not really done anything with it just because it was having some minor issues, but I did sort those out. But this fixture actually came from Detroit here. Now, Detroit used to have tons of Spaulding Metropolitans, I think, at one time, and they were usually customer-owned lights. Unfortunately, they were mostly found in the really rough parts of Detroit, and unfortunately have been either vandalized, removed from service, and are just now gone, and there really isn't a lot of them left, and I know where a couple are that have also been recently scrapped. But this one right here, I don't know where this one came from, but when I was at work, they were throwing this away, and I went ahead and got it out of the dumpster and saved it. And I'm glad I did, because this fixture is really impressive. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking about all that now, and let's go ahead and look at this Metropolitan.
So this Spaulding Metropolitan here was actually made in 1970. And I do know that because it actually says inside the fixture on the capacitor, so pretty cool that I actually have an exact date on this thing. But one thing that you'll notice about this Metropolitan is it has a very boxy design, and it's very similar in a sense to American Electric ITT at the time. So when American Electric and ITT partnered with each other, they actually made their fixtures more boxy shaped, and that's something that they did during the 70s, I think, because it was just kind of an appealing thing to do. But I think Spaulding also attempted to make this type of design aesthetic on their fixture, and unfortunately I don't think it was as popular. You can see it's still a little bit round. It's not completely boxy. It's a little bit more chubby in a sense, rather than just being a perfectly square fixture. But I will say, when it comes to a Metropolitan design specifically, it does kind of fit that Metropolitan look, with its somewhat streamlined but kind of bulky, boxy shape. One thing to mention too about this fixture in general is it's very heavy, and the reason why it's very heavy is, one, because of the ballasting inside, and two, because this metal on here is extremely high quality. So this fixture, of course, like every other street light except for a couple other brands that once existed, it's just made of cast aluminum. It's a cast aluminum mold, and it's a very thick cast aluminum mold, and it's really high quality. It is finished pretty nicely on the edges, and it's thick. I don't know if you can see that. We'll probably see it a little bit better when we get into it, but it's like literally a 1/4 inch thick. It's extremely thick. I'm probably going to continue to say that throughout this video, because that's really just one thing to describe this fixture is thick. I mean, you can just see. And it's not just the top housing, the door itself is also very thick too. You can see it's also, it kind of has its original paint still. This was powder coated, I think, in a light gray color, so pretty cool. We'll eventually, when I get time, redo the paint on here, so yeah. And if we go to the front here, you can see it's a little weird actually from the front view. It looks quite small. It's almost like a Jocelyn an older Jocelyn spaceship in a sense, as to where it's very short looking on the front, but when you look at it from the side, it's extremely wide. So very unusual. Yeah, you can see the latch here, and that is actually just made of stainless steel metal, so it's really nice. And again, I'm going to use that word, thick. It's a thick piece of metal. So yeah. Here's the glass refractor, which we'll take a little bit more of a closer look in a minute once we get the door off. But yeah, and one thing to note, and I'll show it to you quickly, is that Jocelyn logo. So one thing I will mention, I think Spaulding may have bought out Jocelyn and got the rights to their name, because their logoing is still on this lens, and even their Metropolitan 250, their small Cobra heads actually says Jocelyn on the glass, and I have one, but I'll do a video on that another time. But yeah, pretty Jocelyn-like. And we'll go towards the back here. Now, these did come photocell equipped. Mine does not have the photocell socket. It does say level here. Now, I don't know why they did that, because this is where your photocell socket would go. Oddly enough, for the ones that aren't, they have that level. And really what this would just be for is to put a level on here to make sure your fixture is positioned the way you need it to be, according to the specs and what you're mounting it to. But yeah, I don't know why they'd even take the time to put that here if a photocell socket's going to eventually go here anyway. So yeah, kind of odd, but your photocell socket is basically just like every other Jocelyn photocell socket. And I do have an example that I could show you real quick of what a photocell socket, obviously what it would be like if it was on this fixture. So, alright, so we've moved up to my bed here. This is my Jocelyn gumball area light fixture that I showed in a video quite a long time ago now. But I've actually used this in a couple other videos that I did of my Jocelyn MV121, so you guys might recognize this fixture here. But yeah, of course, like the Jocelyn's, the Spaulding Metropolitan did have the same type of photocell socket, the same exact one, and I think they probably were still branded as Jocelyn as well. As you can see, the Jocelyn branding is on this Jocelyn photocell socket. But if that Spaulding were to have a photocell socket, it would be this one. And basically, you got two screws right here that you would loosen, and there would be a spin plate under here, and you can twist and position this photocell depending on where north is in your area. And then once you have that, you'd screw it back down, and it would lock it into place. So that's basically what the photocell socket would be like if it was on the Spaulding. Pretty cool. It's too bad I don't have the photocell socket, but no worries. This fixture is still really impressive without it. And we can kind of take a quick look at the back here. You can see just how thick it is. Actually looking towards the inside a little bit, and you guys will probably see it a little bit better once I open it, but look at just how thick it is. There's just so much metal. So yeah, pretty interesting. It really is a interesting design, and I definitely think it fits the Metropolitan appeal that it was trying to aim for. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead. I'm going to lay this fixture on its back and open it up for you guys, and we can take a look at the insides. Alright, so the Spaulding Metropolitan is quite a big fixture to open. It's a little bit hard to do it from the floor, but I'll go ahead and show you. So, like I said on the front here, you got this metal tab here, and basically you can kind of see that it's, you know, curved under. That's basically how it holds the door shut, but all you would do is pull that back, and you can see it kind of comes out of that space. Let me see if I can get my hands. There we go. It just opens up like so. And to actually get the door all the way off, there's a really nice securement piece that they have towards the back here. They got this little tab hanging over the bar that basically holds this hinge section together. And to get that off, all you gotta do is pull it up and it releases out, just like so. And I'll flip it around, you can see where the tab would sit. And you know, that would keep it in. And yeah, you got your door off. Alright, so here is the door. It is quite an impressive door. Again, it's just really, really long. You can see it kind of takes up the whole camera. To get your glass out, you got this little tab here. All you gotta do is twist this to the side a little bit. It's just a little bit of a tension spring in there. And then your glass usually would be able to slide up and out like so. And then yeah, you got your glass out. I'll go ahead and put that aside so we can just kind of overlook the door real quick. There's not a lot of detail in here. It's a pretty straightforward assembly. But we'll start from the bottom. Of course, you can see how thick all this metal is again. That's the word I'm going to keep using. That's where your door would clip onto the hinge. And like I said, you got that really nice piece of stainless steel. It's a little slider tab that basically just helps to keep the door on. You know, in case the latch on the front ever comes off, it'll help your door to not swing up and back and fall off. That'll keep it secure to the fixture. So yeah, pretty cool. And then you don't risk breaking the door or the glass. So yeah, it's made of stainless steel, and it has two really nice screws in there. And there's a little tension spring in there too. It's also made of stainless steel, so really cool. And I like that you can unscrew it and take it apart, because that means I could polish it and clean it when I go to restore it. So yeah, really happy that they put that in there. Really good stuff. Again, there's all that thick metal. There's not really a lot of detailing in here. There's not even actually drip holes. You can see there's absolutely nothing on the outside of the door. There's no drip holes, and I don't know why they forgot to do that, but yeah, pretty odd. Here is that little tab for to keep the glass on. This is actually made of a cast aluminum, so it is a little bit flexible, but you got a little spring here that kind of helps, you know, keep tension down on it so that it'll properly secure the glass. And it's just a screw and a washer that holds it in, so again, I can take it apart if I need to clean it. And then there's a little tab on the front here. This I think is also made of a cast aluminum. As you can see, it's a little corroded. Just kind of screwed down to the door, not really doing anything else, but just holding the other end of the glass in. And then you got the hole here for where the latch comes up. So yeah, it's pretty bare bones in here, but nothing wrong with that. It's, like I said, it's a very thick, high quality metal, and I like it. So this really isn't the type of fixture that has to look aesthetically beautiful, as this fixture came out in the 70s anyway. So I'm not really too worried about that, but yeah, pretty cool. I'll go ahead and put that aside and pull the glass back over here for you guys. So yeah, here's that lovely piece of glass. Now, you may kind of recognize the shape of this glass. This glass actually is the same exact glass, with one exception though, which is this is weird and you're gonna be a little surprised, but this is actually the same glass as the Revere 2700, but it's shrunken a slight bit. It won't actually fit in a Revere 2700. It's, I don't know how they did that, but it literally is slightly smaller, and I wish I had a set 2700 in my collection to show you guys, but it's not the same same size. They actually just shrunk it. But the shape is exactly the same, the details are exactly the same, other than the logo on the front. It's literally just slightly smaller. So that actually makes this glass unique to the Spaulding Metropolitan. So that is kind of cool, I think, in a way. But you can see it's a little bit foggy. I don't know if this glass was a slight bit lower in quality, but the UV light has appeared to kind of make it a little bit hazy. And that can happen over time, especially with 1000 watt luminaires. It can actually, you know, make the glass a little bit hazy just because of the UV light. It kind of starts to break it down. Glass can break down, but yeah, it's still in good condition and it's okay. It's not really terrible. Despite the fogginess, it is very thick, and despite some of the roughness, the detailing, you can kind of see beyond the wrinkling, there is some of that nice little bubbly detail that Pyrex did with this design, and it really feels nice. I really like it. So the detailing is definitely still there, and the edges on this feel nice, and it's not really that bad. But yeah, there's that Pyrex detailing that you'd see usually towards the back, and yeah, it's just kind of an old lens. Anyway, I'll show you the rim real quick. This is the only, other than the logo on the front, this is the only bit of information you really can find. You can see it says Pyrex, if it will focus. Right there. You can see it says Pyrex, made in USA for Jocelyn. So, again, even though this is a Spaulding brand fixture, the Spaulding apparently had the rights, or must have had the rights, to Jocelyn, because it still has that branding labeled on here. So I find that really unusual, but yeah, pretty cool that you can see that, and of course that my camera won't focus. I'll go ahead now and show you the logo on the front. Of course, they got that nice Jocelyn Fancy J logo on the front. It's so beautiful. They probably kept it because it was probably really nice. So yeah, and you can see that nice bubbly detail around it that Pyrex decided to go with on this glass. So yeah, pretty cool. I say it's an okay piece of glass. It's not really maybe the most exciting piece of glass. The detailing, other than that little bubbly detailing stuff on it, it's pretty basic in design bead pattern. So yeah, not like super exciting, but not bad at all. So alright, so here we are inside the fixture now. We'll start with the back here. You can see there's a little stainless steel bar here, and that's basically where that hook on the door just hooks onto. So really cool, and you can see again how just thick, and especially towards the back here, just look how thick it is. Really thick metal. There's like no way any of this could break down. So really awesome. You can see these really gigantic big clamps in here with these big bolts. Kind of copying Westinghouse possibly in a way, but yeah. The clips here are made of a cast aluminum, and you can actually tell easily because this one right here does have a stress crack on it. I don't really know what that's from, but yeah. I don't know if these bolts are stainless steel or not. They're a little bit hazy, but I'm kind of gearing towards them maybe being aluminum bolts or just galvanized. I'm not 100% sure. But they're not bad. They're pretty high quality, and I like them. So they have a really nice big R on them. I don't know if that's a logo of a brand or company that made bolts back then, but if anyone knows, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd actually be interested in knowing that. So yeah, pretty cool. And there really isn't any pivoting adjustments on here. It's just a straight clamp system. So now if this picture were to be photocelled, the back of the photocell would actually be right here where that circle is and that number. I don't know what that number means, but yeah, it's there. That's where the bottom leg or photocell socket would be. And if we go up a little bit, you can see the capacitors and this transformer. So very, very impressive transformer. This thing is made by Jefferson Electric, and this is something that Jocelyn did in their spaceship pictures, is they used Jefferson ballasts. And I will say one thing about these ballasts is that there's like nothing wrong with them ever. They're very, very high quality, very thick. You see you got nice big thick wires here. The sticker is worn off, but I'll put a picture up. And one thing I've noticed about these Jefferson ballasts, especially during their spaceship era, are the capacitors. Now, a lot of older fixtures, especially these 1000 watt fixtures, are known for having the older capacitors fail to a short and burn up the transformers. However, Jefferson seems to use really good capacitors, and I don't know why these don't fail, but like these ones actually work. They tested fine, and this fixture functions extremely well with them still, and I'm shocked. But this fixture did come out in the 1970s, though. Well, to be specific, 1970s. So maybe the capacitor technology by then was finally improved a bit. So yeah, these caps are fine, and it's really cool because it really is going to help keep this fixture authentic. And yeah, again, like I said, these transformers are high quality, so really cool. It's nice and big and thick, and of course the sticker isn't here, but it is a 120-240 ballast. It's a CWA ballast. And of course, it's for 1000 watts Mercury vapor. Now, I don't have, like I said, the original sticker, but I have a picture up here for you guys to show you what it said. So if you guys want to pause the video and read the specs on it, it's pretty cool. So yeah, really awesome. It's too bad the sticker is unfortunately worn off, but that picture I have, I'm going to try to photocopy it and install a new one. So yeah, I'm really happy to have the original components in this. Now, a lot of these Spaulding Metropolitans, like a lot of other 1000 watt fixtures, by the 80s and 90s, they've converted these to metal halides. So luckily this one's original and works exactly like it should. So pretty cool. Yeah, and basically you just got your wires here. They got really nice rope coated cloth wires. So they're very high quality, and they're still in really good condition. I'm guessing since this fixture was probably off for about 4 years anyway. So yeah, it's helped to preserve them. And yeah, your wires just come from your transformers down to your capacitors. By the 70s, they quit using 3 capacitors in 1000 watt fixtures and actually got down to 2. So pretty impressive, and I couldn't imagine actually what this would be like with 3 capacitors. Anyway, since these ones are kind of just crammed in the back here. But yeah, nothing wrong with that. That's nice to see. So pretty cool. And yeah, just kind of look at that transformer again. It's very high quality. Very, very nice. Jefferson really does, or did make good ballasts back then. So I'm happy to have this in this fixture. So yeah. Moving up from that, we can look at our wires again. You can see the 120-240 labelings on them for how you'd wire them. And basically, with this type of ballast, to get the desired voltage you want, all you'd have to do is put the numbered wires in the right orientation on the terminal block to get the voltage you want. So yeah, this one is already wired for 120. So yeah, I will say though, I don't know why the sticker says here, but it says this fixture is wired for 240 supply. It's a caution. When I got this fixture, it was not wired for 240. It actually was wired for 120. So I don't know actually why they got that in there, but pretty odd. But yeah, and one thing I actually forgot to show you real quick, of course, is that authentic date. And you can see it on this capacitor. It says 300. There we go, September 1970. I know the focus, of course, is being a little stupid, but yeah, you can see that date on there, so it's cool to know that this fixture was made right at the beginning of the 70s, so yeah. Yeah, like I said, your wires are wired to whatever voltage you need, and then here is your terminal block here. It's basically the same terminal block that Jocelyn had been using throughout their spaceship line. So pretty nice, high quality ceramic, and it's screwed down very nicely. And you got your 2 terminals here, which you can kind of see are a tad bit rusty, but they're not really made of regular metal though. They're actually copper. I guess you could say that's corrosion, but yeah, pretty cool. It's a very nice terminal block, and all your connections just connect into these spades, and then it just goes down to here. So that's how you get your connection. So yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, you got your wires that go down to your ballasts and your capacitors. And then I think this set of wires here, yeah, it says lamp on it. Those are your lamp wires that splice together. So pretty cool. I really like that. And let's go ahead now and move up to the socket, because the terminal block actually is kind of mounted to the socket here. So here is the top part. I'm gonna go ahead and take this lamp out so I can get this reflector out. Now, like I said, this lamp was in it. It's actually, I think, an older bulb, maybe. I'm not sure. It doesn't really say what brand it is on it, but it's a little bit of an older bulb. It is quite used. Oh, there it is. You can very faintly see it, but it does say General Electric on it. It's one of those older General Electric Mercury lamps, so I think it's also from the 70s. This is probably the original lamp, but you can see that arc tube, it's quite black. So definitely getting towards the end of its life, but yeah, it works, so I'll just keep it for now. Put that aside. To get our reflector out here, all you gotta do is come up to the front here and just pull back on this release tab. And the whole assembly is kind of slid onto the socket, so you just want to slide it off like so. Uh-oh, got some of that seal breaking down. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, but let's go ahead and look at our socket terminal here. So you can see the socket's actually mounted to a bracket right here, which, funny enough, if you look at the orientation of this, with the way this goes, you can actually tell that the metal goes up here and that this mounts to it. So pretty interesting that they did that. But there's another plate of metal that kind of goes under this lip right here, and it kind of comes in from behind. And that is your socket adjustment right there. So when you're, the back section of this reflector goes on, it kind of just sits on this front piece. But basically, to just adjust your light socket position, you undo these two screws here, and you really can only move it forward and back. You can't move it up or down. But yeah, you just gotta undo these two screws right here, and you'll kind of see there's a little tab right there that kind of locks it in place. Let me unloosen those a bit more. So there we go. So just unloosen those real quick, and you can, that thing kind of helps it sit. You can move it backward, and you got an A, B, and C position. I can't really go much farther back, but that would be your farthest back position. So yeah, that's pretty much how the only way you can really adjust it. Now I have it all the way up, just because I'm not really a huge fan of the socket adjustments in streetlight fixtures, and having it all the way up towards the front for me keeps the bulb center where I mostly prefer to have it. You can actually tell, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but you can kind of see where there's some screw marks here. This socket actually was mounted one step back when I had gotten it, but I didn't like where the bulb was positioned, so I went ahead and just moved it back forward. But yeah, that's your socket adjustment in case you want to move it forward or back. But yeah, like I said, you can't really move it up or down. It's pretty static when it comes to that, but not bad, I guess. At least you got some choice of option there. There really isn't anything going on under the reflector area. It's pretty blank in here. But if I set the camera down and zoom into this right here, you can see that nice hinge tab. It's just a solid, thick piece of stainless steel metal, and it's really nice, and it's just screwed down with those two screws there on the front, and you can see again the metal right there is just really thick. So yeah, pretty cool. Alright, so here's a reflector, and you can see that little piece of white thing that is the seal that goes on the back of this. You can see it's kind of broken down. This is just a seal gasket, and the gasket that actually goes on the rim of this thing is also missing. This, I think, originally had one of those gray gaskets, and like I've said, I'm not a fan of them. They break down very easily, and they crumble and fall apart once they completely dry rot, so they're completely useless. But yeah, the one on the back here hasn't been completely exposed, but it is breaking down. I'm trying not to mess it up too much. But yeah, it's just a standard reflector like every other streetlight.
just a pressed aluminum reflector, and it looked like there were probably once some stickers on here that actually said something, but unfortunately you can't read them. But it's not bad. It's a little bit on the thin side maybe, but it's okay. In this back section here, this is where your socket would come in, of course. It's just a separate piece here of just pressed aluminum, and they kind of got it, looks like they got it kind of crimped in there somehow. So yeah, pretty nice. You can see the other end of it where they got the ring. So yeah, not bad, not bad. It's okay. And you can also see as well that tab that hooks up onto the front. It just has 2 rivets holding it in. So pretty basic reflector. It's not really too exciting or anything, but it's not low quality at all. It's okay. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead now and put this fixture back together, and let's go ahead and watch this thing warm up. Alright, so I went ahead and got it hooked up here. Alright, good. So this is my 1970s Spaulding Metropolitan 1000 watts Mercury vapor in 1, 2, 3. It was a little bit slow to start that lamp, and it's kind of tell on camera that it's not really a nice deep pink color. Usually with phosphor coats, the lamp when it's new will give off a nice pink color, but most of the mercury vapors kind of already drained out of the lamp, so it's not really there anymore, but it does still start up, and you can tell the fixture is not very loud. It's pretty much just as loud as any other 1000 watt fixture. It's not super noisy, but like has a normal hum to it. But yeah, pretty cool. Let's go ahead now and watch this warm up. Okay, this light is at full brightness. Now with those caps still working well, it definitely still gets really, really bright, even though the lamp is towards the end of its life. But yeah, it's really, really nice. Let me go ahead and, excuse me, zoom out a little bit. That must be my pineapples from earlier I ate, making me burp. But yeah, you can see it's very nice. I'll kind of lean on its side a little bit. Yeah, and you can see that nice light it's giving off. You see the glass, it's actually giving off a lot of heat too, but it's a 1000 watt lamp, so duh. Yeah, you can see the glass. It's a little heavy, so I can't really roll it on its back, but I can at least kind of pan around the glass a little bit. Yeah, that nice Jocelyn logo really looks good. You can see the 1000 watt lamp inside. Really nice glass details. There's quite a sine wave on the camera right now. You can see the lines. Just I put my finger with it. I don't know why it's making so much of a sine wave on my camera. Usually my other fixtures don't do that, but yeah, maybe the caps are a little bit slow. But yeah, really, really cool. And I got the blinds in here shut. It is daylight out, but if I do kind of turn it on its side, you can see how really bright it is. So really, really awesome that it still works. And then yeah, you can see the top section. It really is a nice Luminaire, even though it's a little bit basic. It's super nice and super high quality. I really am glad it works. And you know, look at the glass just one more time. That bulb's definitely at the end of its life. You can hear a hissing sound. One thing I forgot to mention, it's not a huge deal, but I think it says Jocelyn on the bottom actually. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and despite the glass being a little bit worn down from the UV light, the mold patterns are still very crisp, and you can see the detailings really well still. So it's definitely high quality glass, just a little bit old. So yeah. Alright, that was my 1970s Spaulding Metropolitan 1000. I'm really glad I was able to share this rare, obscure fixture with you guys. I hope you guys also enjoyed it as well. I will say before I end the video, I'm trying to get a community page going on my YouTube channel so that I can try to keep you guys a little bit more updated with what's going on with my streetlights and videos. Now, I have to have 500 subscribers to do so, so I will say if any of you guys are new to this channel and this is your first video you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to help me gain that 500 subscribers that I'm trying to get, so that I can actually keep you guys posted and updated with more streetlight videos and projects, and just in general, so you guys can just stay tuned for more when I upload stuff. So yeah, please feel free to subscribe and add a like down below if you guys enjoyed this video for the YouTube algorithm. And if there's anything I haven't mentioned about this fixture, or if you guys know where any of these fixtures are, please feel free to let me know down in the comments below. And again, I do promote people to look for these fixtures, take pictures, share locations, so that fixtures like these can hopefully get saved and preserved so that they won't be destroyed. And just, yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good day, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.